Holy jeez. I feel like if I was monetized, I could totally get demonetized for the amount of sex in this book that I have to talk about. Pew, pew, pew. What the hell is going on here? It's been an experience, let me tell you. It's 5 stars. Hey everyone, it's April, and we're coming back for another reading vlog. Would you stop? It's time for the cowboy reading vlog. I'm so excited. For this vlog, I'm going to be reading at least 3 cowboy books that are not your typical cowboy books. I want to do something more up my alley. As you all know, I don't really like contemporary books that much. I don't know, they just don't do it for me. They're okay. Every once in a while I find a gem. You know, I'm definitely mostly in the sci-fi and fantasy realm, so we're gonna go with it. The first cowboy book that I have found, oh my god, the wind is just whipping. The first cowboy book that I'm reading is called Atomic Wasteland. It is a dystopian, post-apocalyptic, sci-fi cowboy book with some time travel, I think, and robots, and yeah. What I'm picturing in this one is the video game Fallout. Like, a lot of the first couple of chapters feels very much like Fallout. You have a girl who discovers that she has some scars on her wrist that she's never seen before. They're like 3 dots, and she wants to figure out what those are, but she lives in like this underground bunker type place called the Syndicate. And so she starts to snoop and ask questions. And outside is like a desolate wasteland. Like, it's totally Fallout. Like, it really is. What? So much so like Fallout, kind of like it. The writing is a little weird. It's a little clunky, but I like it. And I see that this book promises Westworld vibes too. So I'm excited for that. So yeah, the weather sucks today. We're not going anywhere. Leo is here with me. And no, you cannot have my orange. We're just gonna read most of the day. I eventually will get cleaned up. This weather is doing a number on my sinuses, but I'm feeling fine. I just might sound a little sniffly still. What's new? But I'm excited to get a lot of reading done today and throughout the week. I read a lot farther than I thought I would yesterday. I got to about like 33%. And this book. So far we have Nancy, okay? Nancy was in a bunker with the Syndicate, and then she found out that she is not exactly a human, but she's like a new model of android person. And then she escaped. She's like found a tunnel and escaped. And so she's out there in the world, and then we meet Harrison, who we meet in like a saloon. He's a total cowboy. He's a bounty hunter, and he's approached by someone from the Syndicate to find Nancy. I thought for sure like we were gonna have some time like of him trying to find her, because she's just kind of, sorry, I have kids here today, they're going crazy. I thought for sure we'd have some time spent on like Harrison trying to find her, but nope. No, he's like, okay, I'll find her, and then next day he's like, oop, there she is, and she's running away from like this giant sandworm thing, and she kind of like rescues him, and they meet up, and he's being like that total like aggressively charming, like, how you doing type of man. I just don't know if I like it or not. But they're having some adventures already. He asked her to go on like a fuel run with her, and then they met up with some other gang, and they had a little shoot 'em out thing, and then they're in this tiny town where they're meeting a lot of people, and something happens there. There's a lot going on right now. I think once in this book it said something about time travel, and so far I have not seen time travel. That could still happen, but maybe I'm thinking because this is so far in the future, like the time travel has already happened. Like the time travel was like getting to this year. It's like 23 or something like that. I don't know. I'm enjoying so far. The writing is something. Some of the lines in here, oh boy. But I definitely am feeling like the Westworld vibes, and then also just this apocalyptic world. Like, to me, it feels more like Fallout, the video game Fallout. And there is a show coming for that, by the way, soon in April. I can't wait to see it. But yeah, I don't hate it so far. I like it. I'm enjoying, and I'm curious to see where exactly this is gonna go. I just got done filming, so that's why you're on the tripod here. Okay, let me bring you in a little closer. But it's been a few days, and I'm still reading Atomic Wasteland by Tabitha Lovelace, and it's been an experience, let me tell you. There was a few scenes in the very beginning that were very action heavy, and I was really loving them. But then we got to like this very small western town, and things kind of slowed down plot-wise and action-wise for me a little bit. Like, we're just in this town. Raiders have come and ravaged the town, so they're helping it rebuild it. She's living in this saloon inn thing, you know, while trying to stay away from Mr. Cowboy. But you know, they eventually get together, and once that spice hits, holy jeez. Holy jeez. I feel like if I was monetized, I could totally get demonetized for the amount of sex in this book that I have to talk about. So we're just gonna say, we're gonna use a safe word, okay? We're gonna use a safe word, and I'm gonna say, use the word book instead of the F word, okay? Because holy Jesus, when these two get together, it is no like soft moment. These two come at it hard, and I mean hard. She doesn't like it gentle, okay? And this guy, he's just some hardcore booking, okay? Hardcore. It's just, I mean, I feel like on the salt level, that's these two are gonna hurt each other. If she wasn't a robot, she'd break a hip, okay? Like, just, he apparently has a magical penis, and like that just is ready to go immediately after orgasming. I don't know about you, but I mean, maybe there are those people out there. I've never seen that. never experienced that. So it's just kind of unrealistic for me, but you know what? Whatever. This whole book is on a distant planet in a distant time, so what the fuck? You know, we'll just fucking go with it. These two, they're both kind of dumb. Like, honestly, she is a robot, but she is a dumb robot. I work in IT, and when we talk about smart devices being dumb, she fits the bill here, okay? She fits the bill. Because she even says right away, oh, I bet you're a bounty hunter. And he's like, no, I'm not. And she's like, okay. She just goes with it. I just don't understand her motivation. Oh, Lord. I'm getting to the point where you saw me react to last night. It's so much. So these two, they have to take a trip to some tech guy that can kind of figure her out, because her combat mode and her pleasure mode, she knows she has them, but also they're kind of locked out to her. Like, she can't access them on her own at will. So she wants to be able to do that like at a moment's notice. So they go on this trip, and they're in the desert together. Like, it's a really beautiful landscape. They're in a tent, but also they brought drugs. He brought drugs to go on a trip. But it's also like to heighten, you know, feelings, sexual feelings, those kind of things. So they both take the drugs. And that's where you get the time travel aspect of this, because they're tripping balls. they're tripping balls, and they're like on a different planet. They're both seeing the same thing. They don't understand how this is going, but also they have, you know, big like sex scene that's like incredible, blah 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 blah. Anyways, they do that. they do that, and then they come back. I'm spoiling everything for this whole book because it's just ridiculous. I don't recommend reading it. It's not bad. It's not bad enough to be bad, but it's also not good enough to be good. So this is gonna be a 3-star book, okay? But however, like, she was pleasuring herself after she has now activated her pleasure mode. Like, she wanted to know if that, like, she needs a partner or if she can activate it herself. And the part that you see me reacting to is her slapping herself down there. And she was really going to town at herself. And like, I'm like, girlfriend, this is assault. This is assault on yourself. It was a lot. But also like, really? Like, I couldn't figure out if I wanted to like skip that part, if I just wanted to keep reading to see how long it was going. And I feel uncomfortable now. I feel a little uncomfortable with this heroine right now. And then she finds out, you know, he's lied to her and all this kind of stuff. And what's she gonna do about it? She's gonna pretend like she doesn't know. She's gonna pretend like she doesn't know. They're all building this gigantic fortress to kind of keep out all the bad guys that are catching them away. But no, her smart AI brain says, I'm gonna run away. I'm gonna run away. I don't want to be around him anymore. And it's not like she's being sneaky, because all of a sudden they go from having sex like 5 times a night and morning. Like, it's just so much. It's so much to like nothing. She's like, I'm not in the mood. Girlfriend, you're always in the mood. You are a robot, okay? Like, just, this book is ridiculous. I'm like at 82%, and I definitely want to finish it, but I can guarantee you this is not a 5-star book for me. Like, this book doesn't have enough weird for me. Like, I want her to come out riding the sandworm or whatever it was. I want them to be more shooty stuff. He's definitely a cowboy. Like, there is some lines. Whatever storm you're facing, you don't have to weather it alone, Miss Fancy. Oh my God. And the other thing, his term of endearment for her is Fancy, because her name is Nancy. Yes, he calls her Fancy Nancy. She is not fancy in any way, shape, or form. It just rhymes, and he just went with it. This was another one that I was like, what kind of quote is this? Is this a real quote? Do people actually say this, or is this just like this book? It says, between those damn warlords and the syndicate, it's like trying to ride 2 horses with 1 ass. What? Oh, and then there was this part where she's like getting kidnapped. Like, she's run away like an idiot, and then she gets kidnapped, of course, because of course you did. She has like this cat friend that she's made, and she's getting kidnapped, and then the cat like runs out of the cave that she's at, and the next thing you know, it says, the only sound in the closing blackness is the distant hooves of Starlight, the horse, and then that fades away too. And I'm just like, oh, no. Did Nomad the cat ride Starlight off in the middle of the night like freaking Puss in Boots? What? This book is ridiculous. I hope it ends like on a big, ridiculous note, because right now it's only kind of ridiculous with a high spice, high spice, but not like anything creative in the spice department. It's just a lot of hard fucking. It's just a lot of pounding. It makes me very uncomfortable to read. Let me finish this book, and I'll tell you what my rating is with the end. Okay, we're back. I did finish Atomic Wasteland. Oh, yes. It's definitely a 3-star. It's definitely a 3-star. Honestly, the ending, we did have a nice, like, shootout. Pew, pew, pew. So I liked that portion of it. I don't think the hero got his satisfaction with his, like, revenge plot line as much, but, you know, whatever. I did notice Tabitha Lovelace is going to be writing a second book to this series? Is it gonna be a series now? Honestly, I'd read it. I'd read it. I probably would read it. I do like the world of that story. Like the desolate, dusty desert land, you know, on a distant planet where there is technology, but also it's beyond technology. So technology is old to them, but it's there. Like I kind of really love that about it. It definitely gave me like the Westworld type vibes, I guess. Mad Max vibes with the like bike villains in this, or the raiders, but like the vibes were there. I just think the whole middle of it was so slow and over the top with the sex, like, but not in like like an interesting way. It was just a lot. So yeah, 3. I don't think it was bad, but I don't think it was great either. It was a nice start. It was a nice start to this cowboy vlog. Okay, I started another one, and this one is an alien cowboy. This one's by Clio Evans, and it's called Cosmic Crush, and this is an alien burlesque romance. Okay. Again, cowboy vibes are there. I mean, this guy says, daggone it, several times. He's an alien with 4 arms, 2 eggplants, 6 eyes. And he's on the run. He's a criminal, okay? He like she's a burlesque dancer. In the middle of her show, he busts in and kidnaps her. And then they zip off on this motorcycle through this maze of caves where his hideout is, and then a dust storm happens, right? So they're stuck in the cave. They're stuck in the cave for days. And she is very, at first, like, very like, you will never touch me, blah, 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 blah. Boy, does that dissolve quickly, okay? Because there's a wrench thrown in this, okay? There's a wrench. And while he was taking her away, he meant to subdue her. Like, he meant to subdue her by stinging her because he has a stinger tail, okay? However, it didn't quite work that way because she's his fated mate, and instead of her like falling asleep from his stinging poison, she has a gigantic orgasm from it. She's like, what the hell is going on here? He knows right away what that means. She doesn't, but he very matter-of-factly tells her, well, like, he says, I'm not gonna touch you. It just means you're my mate, and this complicates my plans for you. Because now he's very protective of her instead of like wanting to use her to clear his name type thing. So I am about 80% of the way through this book. They spend a lot of time in the cave, and you know what? At least the sexy times in this, Clio Evans always delivers. She always delivers. It is super hot. Super a lot. And just kind of weird. Like, again, just kind of weird. He is, okay, this alien, the cowboy portion of this, okay, this alien, he talks in a southern accent because they have like translators to help them like understand each other. So he talks in a southern accent. He wears chaps, but I don't think he wears anything under the chaps. So like every time he turns around, she sees his booty. She's like, that's a nice booty. So I'm just like, he's just, oh, it's an alien cowboy. I'm enjoying this. I enjoy the heroine, and I enjoy the hero. I, again, don't think this is like a great book by any means, but I have read previous Clio Evans books. They always promise to be super spicy and just super quick and dirty and fun. So I think that's what I'm getting with this. I am really enjoying, again, the cowboy aspect of it. They're on a distant planet, and this is like the outlaw territory. So this certain planet is very like dusty, and I think I just really love that setting. You know what I mean? Like the Wild West setting. So I want to see how this ends. There's like this big matchup happening between this alien and his brother. And so we'll see how this ends and see how much I like it. I am enjoying this one though. It's quite short. It's like 200 or something pages. So yeah, we'll see how this one goes. Yeah! Hey, it's been a hot minute, okay? It's been a hot minute. I had a really long weekend where I went to San Francisco twice. And then I decided to go to IKEA, which was also in the Bay Area. It was a lot of driving, okay? It was a lot of driving, and I did have a 7-hour bus trip on Friday, which I did get to read. So let me tell you what I read, because whew, it was something. I finished the Cosmic Gems one. I was really enjoying that. It felt like almost cozy. It wasn't like intense. It was very spicy. Clio Evans just does like the 90-10 spice to plot ratio stuff very well. If you were looking for something like that, I highly recommend you pick up Clio Evans. Like any one of her books, they're all like that. And it's just like to me, it's a good break in between a super serious book, like something intensely fantasy or long, and then you're just like, I just want something quick and smutty. That's what Clio Evans was. And I really liked the relationship between the alien cowboy and the burlesque dancer. Like they were just kind of adorable in a way, and their sex scenes together were different. Like it wasn't just the same thing over and over and over, even though there was a lot of them. So ultimately, I would say high 3, but I'm gonna round up to a 4 on that one. It was good for what it was. Like I enjoyed my time reading it. Now for a book I didn't enjoy my time reading, I had decided to maybe throw in a normal cowboy book in this vlog, just to see if I can get that feeling of Heartless back with the contemporary. This was not it for me. I have an arc of Swift and Saddled, which is the second book from Lyla Sage. The first one is done and dusted. I absolutely adore these covers, and I knew it was going to be contemporary. Like I knew it was going to be more contemporary, not quite a rom-com, but maybe something lighter, that kind of thing. So I know those things going in. So when I'm completely bored, is that really the book's fault? It's not the book's fault, okay? I was fucking bored out of my mind. I'm like 35% through, and I tried to read that on a 7-hour bus ride, and I almost fell asleep. There's nothing wrong with this book. There's nothing wrong with this book. She's in a Wyoming gigantic ranch. They're like ridiculous billionaire ranch people, and they're doing a renovation on their old family house, and she's the designer or whatever for it. So they're just, she's the designer, and the love interest is like her boss, right? He's like the lead, and he's a cowboy, and he does all the cowboy things, and he's also like, there's some depression represented with him, even though it's not like getting over his depression type thing. He's already on the other side of the hill, which is nice to see that he had depression, he got help for it, and now he's this way. And he does all these things because like he's running and you know, doing all the things he needs to maintain his mental health. And I loved seeing that, but also it's too fucking real. I read for escapism, and it wasn't escaping me enough. Like if I wanted to talk about anxiety and depression, I would just like, you know, talk to myself. Like it was fine. It was a fine book. but I DNF'd it because it just wasn't for me. It just wasn't for me. That's it. If you want a book that's contemporary, that has family dynamics, some really great dialogue, really great writing, honestly, like there was nothing wrong with this book. You probably would like it. If you are a normal cowboy romance reader, you want a normal cowboy romance book, pick this one up. I think you would like it. But if you're weird like me and you're more of a fantasy reader and a sci-fi reader, you'll be bored. After that, on Sunday, I was in a live show with Maggie. We were going to start another contemporary romance book. What do you know? This one I had more hope for, though, because this is by some of my favorite authors, which is Lorraine and Meg Ann. This is the Twisted Cross Ranch series. It is a Cowboy Mafia Why Choose book. And so we started out on the live, and then Maggie was having some technical difficulties. So I finished it. I listened to the audiobook, and I finished it that night. It's 5 stars. I freaking love Lorraine and Meg Ann. Like, I just love them. I love their ability to have this crass, dirty, mouthed men dialogue, and then this heroine that is so fiery that she does not like hold back with these men. You know what I'm saying? So I really enjoyed this book. Let me tell you what it's about. You have, I forget the girl's name already. It's Wednesday. I forget the girl's name already. But girl has a twisted past, right? She ran away from this ranch. Her parents died. And her parents were friends with this owner of this gigantic ranch. He's like billionaire, okay? Billionaire ranch owner again. And that ranch owner died and called her back for a will reading. So she's in the room with the 2 brothers. Not her brothers, but the 2 brothers. And then the third guy is like just a ranch hand. But anyways, the senior guy who died leaves her basically owning interest of the property. So she has like 51% whatever ownership of all their property. However, she cannot leave or sell it within a year, and she must stay on the ranch with the 2 brothers the entire time. Now we're talking like a 5,000 square foot house, okay? So they do not have to run into each other if they don't want to, but you know they do, okay? And what I loved about this book is that it gets right into it. So within like the first chapter, there's a flashback of her getting with Junior, you know, they call him Cross, back in the day when she just turned like 18 or 19 or something. And he's like 8 years older than her. And he does not like, she's like into him. She's like, I want you as my first time. And he's like, I'm not a good guy, so okay. And then things go to shit and she leaves. Like, she takes off to Alaska or something like that. And then she comes back all these years later, and now the other brother, Walker, he's kind of like a rake kind of individual. Like, he keeps going, the older brother always makes fun of him, saying, don't bring your buckle bunnies in here, blah, 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 blah. They are so cowboy, okay? They all got a twang, right? I just freaking loved it because Walker is like the best friend one, but he also loves her. Like, he's always secretly loved her. And then the ranch hand is Bishop, and he has like this mysterious thing about him going on. I was hooked on this, okay? I was so hooked on this. I'm gonna read the second one, and I hate the covers. I hate these covers. But I'm not opposed to a shirtless man. It's just for some reason these guys aren't doing it for me, okay? Maybe the second one. Maybe the second one. But I don't know. The cowboy thing doesn't work for me in visual. I just love the twang. And these guys are kind of like mafia. You could tell they have dirty business going along. That's why they don't want her here. But she's stuck here. And I just freaking loved this, and I need other people to read it because this was good. And again, the audiobook, what surprised me most? what surprised me most is that there is like a bad guy in this, and the same narrator, I forget his name, I'll put it here, that does Caleb in the Mate Games, you know, the Irish priest daddy. He not only does a Southern accent in this book as Cross, he's the older jerk brother, but he also does a Russian accent as the bad guy, and I'm obsessed, okay? So yes, this was my favorite book so far. 5 stars. 5 stars. So I did have 2 more cowboy books that I still want to read, but I'm not going to for this vlog. I think I'm gonna end it here. First one is Cowboy of the Future. This is by Cassandra Gannon. I just love all of these covers, and I really want to read this one. This would be like a time travel cowboy. I'm still gonna read it because I think it's just like the kind of cowboy that I'm looking for. But I don't know when. And then there's another one that's called Pheromone, a Why Choose Alien romance. This one intrigued me because it does say in the synopsis somewhere that he's a space cowboy, or at least one of the aliens is a space cowboy. But the first line of it says, humans, pets, meat, or mates. And then it just says, what the actual fuck is that? Like in the synopsis. So I'm like, this sounds like a book for me, okay? Oh my God. It says, yeah, that's right. It says, hi, I'm Eve Wakefield, 25 years old, professional caterer, recently abducted by aliens alongside my best friend. I'm also completely and utterly screwed. Lost on a jungle planet, rooming in a downed spaceship with a dragon dude, being hunted by a mothman with demon eyes and vampire teeth, begging for help from a tentacle-tailed fox man who also happens to be a space cowboy. So I don't know how cowboy this is, other than just one of the characters is cowboy. But I also really wanted to read that and I just didn't get to it. So I'm gonna leave that on my like alien romance list. So when I choose that for my TBR, I'll read it. Anyways, those are all the cowboy books that I have read. Again, Atomic Wasteland, I'm giving 3 stars. That one was fun and adventurous. It just wasn't weird enough, nor was it good enough. The Cosmic whatever from Clio Evans, the Alien Burlesque book number 2, I really enjoyed that one. It was just hot and spicy and quick and dirty, like she always does. It gave what it was selling. 4 stars on that one. Swift and Saddled, unfortunately, was a DNF for me. That was just too normal. Too normal. And then Twisted Cross Ranch, Cowboy Mafia, Why Choose? 5 stars. 5 stars. Thank you for everyone joining me on this ride. It was kind of weird. I'm sorry this video was really choppy. I'll get better. I'll get better at vlogging one day. But until then, I'll see you next time. Bye.